Now, Skyrim is a very fun, glitch-free game, and I've played the game for so many hours now that I'm almost starting to get a bit burnt out of things to do within the game. But the other night I had a dream, one that almost awoken me and filled me with joy. What if I could beat the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim with just Conjuration? Well, my friends, let's get to work. So I decided to be a wood elf because in my opinion they're just the coolest. I got him looking pretty sick looking and decided to name him Heidi Conjuration as it was quite fitting. Then proceeded to watch my homeboy get beheaded. And then I entered Rayloff, then nicked this guy's gear, proceeded to watch Rayloff do all the work as I had no conjuration spells whatsoever, and that is literally how the rest of Helgen Keep went. Then said goodbye to my boy Rayloff. See, wouldn't want to be you, mate, I'm out of here. Then made it to the holy town of Riverwood, sold all my stuff to Alvor, took what was rightfully mine from the lady, and made it to the capital. I then spoke to the Jarl, tried to nick him but unfortunately the risk was far too high, and then received instruction from Farengeir. And this is where we finally get our first set of conjuration spells. I decided to go with Avenging Wraith and Conjure Familiar, as I figured these would be the best ones in the starting game. Then on the way to Bleak Falls Barrow, I unfortunately encountered some Weaklings, and Jesus, these guys did so much damage. But not to worry, I just led them to Giants, and they sorted the matter out for me. Thank you, Giants. After a while of hiking, I finally made it to Bleak Falls. The bandits outside were pretty easy thanks to my Avenging Wraith. The same can be said about the bandits inside. I literally just did a bit of running around, and eventually they got killed. I then got my first perk, which was Conjuration Mastery. Got my Deadeye Captain to get rid of some pesky skeevers. I then had to break one of the rules and use my fist to punch these webs, as there was literally no other way of getting through. This nasty spider was fairly easy, as I literally just backed away into the corner so he couldn't get me, and waited for my Avenging Wraith to take him out. I then had to punch this loser down, and unfortunately proceeded to get my first death. However, a while later I made it to the final boss, learnt my first shout. I then proceeded to watch as my Conjure Familiar absolutely dominated the Draugr Overlord, pretty easily I must say. I then brought the Dragonstone to Farengeir and demanded my reward, and then sold him all of my stuff. Then turns out to be a dragon on the Western Watchtower. Jeez, did you guys know about that? I better go sort that out right away. I then killed the dragon like the absolute beast I am. I then proved my beastliness to the Jarl, and then turns out I'm something called Dragonborn. What? I then started my treacherous journey to High Hrothgar. I then saw all these dudes fighting, but I decided to leave it as it was none of my concern. I then had a very unfortunate encounter and gained my second death. I then had an encounter with this absolutely horrific beast and it, one-shotted me. I tried killing the horrific beast, but I ended up just running away, as that is what I do best. And my voyage up to High Hrothgar continued. I gained the perk Bone Collector, which I actually don't use at all, and then instantly died to a wolf. And 4 million hours of treacherous climbing, I finally made it. I then spoke to my homeboy Arngir, and he told me something about shouting. I don't really care, to be honest. I then proceeded to demonstrate my beastliness to him and all of his comrades, did his stupid little tasks, and was instructed to receive the Horn of Jorgen Windcaller. I then decided to wake Farengeir up and demanded some new spells. I decided to go for Cat Totem, Flame Atronach, Reanimate Corpse, and Dramara Churl. And you'll see that the Cat Totem pretty much dominates as I use it for the majority of the run. I made it to the weird horn place, can't remember the name, don't really care. The first part of this cave was pretty easy as my Cat Totem literally dominated. I then gained another death, which was not my fault whatsoever. I then retrieved a note, and turns out somebody took the horn. What? I then spoke to Delphine, who was definitely coming on to me. She then took me down to a very strange lair, and I don't even want to know what happens down here, and told me to locate the dragon burial site. I then used this opportunity to nick all the things she owns, as in my opinion she doesn't need it all, and it's rather selfish of her to have it all stocked away. I then gained the perk Ravenous Dead, and then had some issues with the Falmor. However, I did what I did best, and decided to run away. Now, back to High Hrothgar, yay. Learnt a new word of beastliness, and located the dragon burial site just outside of Windhelm. On my tracks I found a bone altar, which unfortunately I could not use. This wimp then advised me not to go up there, however I don't think she realised I am the Dragonborn. However, overconfidence may have led to my downfall as I got killed by some weird looking beast thing. However, after a bit of elbow grease and watching other people do all the work, I finally killed the dragon. On my way to learn more about infiltrating the Falmor embassy, I got jumped by cultists, but thankfully the guards helped me out. And for some very strange reason, one of the enemies was carrying many different types of body parts, such as a ribcage. I then spoke to my homegirl Delphine, who in turn told me to speak to my homeboy Malborn. As I entered Solitude, I unfortunately watched Rogver about to meet his fate. However, I did not fancy crying today, so I swiftly moved on. Once I got naked for Malborn, I decided to enter the Falmor embassy. I finally made it to this disgusting place. I was then greeted by Elowen. God, I hate her so much. I then proceeded to cause a distraction, then Malborn took me around the corner and gave me my clothes back. With my gear back, I felt like I could do anything. However, my overconfidence may have led to my downfall again, and again, and again. However, I decided if I ran around like crazy and let my beasts do all the work, I would finally be victorious. Although I did die again, and again, and again, and again. However, after ages, I finally made it to the cave. Now this beast inside the cave was incredibly OP, so I did what I do best and got the heck out of there. I then had a few words with Brynjolf, who got me to do his dirty, dirty deeds, and then got to see some super cute crocs. Oh, look at them! I then got dead tired, which again I will never ever use. I tried to locate Esbern, but I had no idea where I was going, and I swear I was lost for about 20 minutes. However, I eventually found my homeboy. It took him 45 years to open all the locks on his door. He then sent me on my way. I then used this opportunity to nick everything he owned. Esbern and Delphine had a nice rejoicing moment, and then before you can say spoodle, I arrived. I didn't fancy taking on these guys, so I decided to just walk straight in. I brought the cat totem out and watched it absolutely demolish. At the end, I had to give some lovely Dragonborn blood, and Alduin's War was looking pretty damn sick. On the way out, I encountered some undead blades, and I thought, yeah, I could take them. Turns out they're pretty damn strong, so yeah, I got the heck out of there. Then saw a pretty cool looking purple dragon, however I knew it would one-shot me, so see ya. And then back at High Hrothgar for the millionth time. I then learned some new words of beastliness, and then cleared the way to Parthenax. I had a few inconveniences on the way, but that's alright. And I finally met the boy himself, Partho. I then learnt yet another word of beastliness, and received instruction from Armgeir to go speak to the College of Winterhold. Once I demonstrated my power to the woman, she let me in, and was then told to go search for someone called Septimus Cygnus. After a long stroll, I finally found his little lair, in whereby he pretty much told me to get out as soon as I got in. I then saw this cute guy, aw, he looks so nice. Turns out he's a nasty piece of work, and killed me. However, I did what I did best yet again and ran away. I was nearly at my destination, however I got sniped by something in the skies. It then had the audacity to do it again. However, thankfully, I finally made it in. Yay, Dwemer Ruins, woo! And then sticking with tradition, we died many a time again, including being bit in the butt by a spider, not just once but twice. I then came across this very pleasant looking gentleman called Jazar. Turns out he was not very pleasant and proceeded to actually kill me. But no need to fear, ladies and gents, as my cat totem is a beast. I then came across this gold boy who killed me in one hit due to my armor rating. But as usual, eventually the cat totem showed who's boss, although I didn't get much further without another death. I tried to run by this guy, however he caught up to me and killed me pretty swiftly. Now this guy ended up killing me another 8 times, however if I played a bit of Ring Around the Rosie with him and let my cat totem demolish him, he wasn't too bad. I then proceeded to get killed by something I didn't even know existed. I thankfully managed to sneak past this golden guy, thank heavens, and then somehow didn't see this very obvious trap. I then thought this was an excellent idea, and then killed by a yellow dude who brutally murdered my cat totem as well. I then tried the old faithful tactic of running, however he caught up to me, cornered me, and yep, killed me. I then continued on, however I got sniped by the Falmor, in which I fell to my death. I then decided to get RAT King, which only the real ones will know, which spawns 3 skeevers when in combat. I was very disappointed as my cat totem let me down, and I died yet again. I then stumbled across this baby Thalma. Oh, look how cute he is! Although my fixation on the baby Thalmor got me killed. Not even running away worked in this situation, as I just got frozen. I then somehow got cornered by all of them and got gang attacked. I then finally made it past, only to be shot in the back. I was so close to Blackreach, and yep, I died again. A long ass later, and I finally made it into Blackreach. Wow, I hate this place so much. I tried to run to the end, but instantly got one hit killed. Then did some pretty nifty parkour and made it to the end, whereby I got flung into absolute oblivion by another golden guy. I then finally cleared the room with my cat totem, transcribed the lexicon, and picked up the Elder Scroll. I then opened the Elder Scroll in the throat of the world, and watched as the 3 Nordic heroes battled Alduin. It was now my turn. This fight was pretty easy as I only died 7 times. Ooh, look at that, I made it past 50 deaths. Let's go, boys. I was then congratulated by Parthenax. Thanks, Partho. And back at High Hrothgar. Yay. I was then told that the red and blues need to get along, so I enforced it. Boom and boom. The meeting unfortunately started a tad choppy, however eventually they decided to agree on terms. I was then approached by Lydia, who I unfortunately had to dismiss for the 2nd time, which made me very sad, as you can tell by my emotionless face. Then died another 4 times trying to capture Odoving. However, it was all worth it in the end as I got to ride a dragon. Oh heck yeah. Hooray, made it to my destination. Now here is where the run gets pretty ridiculous in terms of deaths, so let's have a little compilation. All of this was done before entering the cave and brought me a grand total of 83 deaths. Fast forward 11 deaths and I decided to sit in this spot while the cat totem did all the work. After completing some puzzles, I faced this overlord and he went down pretty easily. I then learned another word of beastliness and made my way outside. Fast forward another 11 deaths and I got killed by an attack I didn't even know existed. I was then killed by this another 3 times. I then plucked up the courage to get out of my hiding spot and got swarmed and died instantly. Fast forward another 10 deaths and I just ran straight through into Sovereign Guard. And finally, I was in the Holy Land. Spoke to this homeboy who wouldn't let me in without a fight, proved my dominance by dying another 2 times, tried to skip the fight altogether, however this didn't work very well, and finally proved my worth with my avenging wraith. I then spoke to Ysgramor, as well as the 3 Nordic heroes, and off we went to defeat Alduin once and for all. I unfortunately had to spawn Alduin myself, as there was a few bugs with this game. This fight was pretty easy as I just used Dragon Rend to get him to the floor, and then my cat totem demolished him. Unfortunately again I had to spawn in a Conjure Dagger, as the game does not let you finish it unless you take the final hit yourself. And boom, there you go. Alduin is no more. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I finally beat modded Skyrim with just Conjuration. I was then sent back to Skyrim to think about my victory today, as well as my 123 deaths. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.